8:49 p.m. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Act 1, Novigrad, Episode 6.
As the Emperor's spies told him, Ciri had reached Novigrad. A lone attempt to find her in the North's largest city would certainly fail. But Geralt had friends he could count on. The Witcher decided to contact Triss Merigold.
Triss Merigold. Let's find out what happened to good old Triss Merigold. It looks like her home has been ransacked and picked over by thieves. And that's actually what we're going to do. We're actually going to explore or investigate her house for any clues and loot. Anything that was left behind. The conjunction of the spheres. I read that on the last stream. The auto save must not have caught it. No big deal. Because this is what we came for. His Imperial Majesty Imres. We've read that as well.
Herbs, roots, just turn to healing.
My Evening with a Vampire. We've read that.
Airbrush. Only ever known Triss to use one like this.
Dun 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 dun. Brother Adalbert's Bestiary.
Amulets are emanating magic. Gotta be Triss's. She was allergic to potions.
Witcher signs. As a mule is neither ass nor horse, though it has traits of both, so are Witcher neither mages nor common men. Witchers are able to cast simple spells they call signs, drawing on the basics of telekinesis, art, pyrokinesis, igni, hypnosis, axi, and so on. They are not, however, capable of utilizing more complex spells. Indeed, they treat real magic with reserve and distrust. Widespread in their ranks is an irrational, nigh on the superstitious fear of teleportation. Let me remind you that deadly accidents during translocational travel occur only once per 100 instances of such travel. This aversion surely stems from the fact that Witchers do not possess inborn magic talents, but instead gain them during their infamous trial of the grasses. It can thus be said that their casting spells is an affront to nature, as is, in fact, everything Witchers do. Be interesting to see what this trial of the grasses actually is. I know it's a trial that young Witchers undergo, and they typically don't make it through because it's pretty ruthless, but it would be interesting to see, like, what constitutes the trial. Like, what events they have to, what challenges do they have to overcome to say they completed the trial.
Triss's. Never knew her to drop him on the floor.
Witches, not quite the devils you thought.
The Rose of Remembrance. All dried up.
Well, let's get on with it. Look for thieves in the main square and carefully follow them, or talk with beggars about the king of beggars. The Pyres of Novigrad. Ciri's trail took Geralt to Novigrad, the largest city in the north. It would take seas of ink to describe the city accurately, so suffice it to say it is the seat of the Church of the Eternal Fire, a bustling port city and a haven for artists and all sorts of other shady characters. Yet Novigrad at this time was not the city Geralt knew from his earlier travels. War raged throughout the known world, and rich cities often proved tempting morsels to armies on the march. It was clear at this time that this particular morsel had both Radovid and Emir greedily licking their chops. Within the city, the Temple Guard acted with impunity under the command of a cankerous snot named Caleb Menge, and with the support of that terror-spreading band of zealots, the Witch Hunters. Meanwhile, the kingpins of the city's underworld still held much of it in their sleazy grasp. Finding Ciri here would be like searching for a needle in a burning haystack. Geralt would clearly need some assistance. Luckily, an old acquaintance of his now lived in Novigrad. Her name was Triss Merigold.
Oh, deepest apologies, Governor. Wretch.
Picked his pocket, didn't even realize it.
Robbed! Thief!
Fairness in your eyes.
Where the hell? Now I'm lost. Where was Triss's house? Was this Triss's house in here?
It takes a great deal.
The second sword, is it in case the first one?
No, this is Triss's house.
The thinking castle will seem right on. Let's deal with this side of the continent. Oi, Grey Knight.
Arms for the poor?
You lame?
No, Charles. Both legs in perfect order. And me arms, look, like a windmill's wings. There. See me waving them? Looky here. Just look. In my mind, thorough addled.
Been like this long? Addled?
Since me mother birthed me. Here's where it's addled. There. Showing you with me finger. See that? Me indicating.
Healthy as a horse as far as I can tell.
Priests of look, medics, herbalists. All claimed I'm bewildered.
Well, they're wrong.
That's little either way. Folk are generous to me. They enjoy watching me point. Like this. There. There.
With his feet?
You're happy. That's what counts.
I am. When folk ask me the way, I like that most, because I can point. Like this. There. Ah. Because I know my way around the city. Oh, do I ever.
So you gotta know where the Putrid Grove is, right?
Most certainly do. It's where I live. Over the, there. There. That way.
That away. Meaning where?
In Lace Halls. There's this alley, past the gate. Not at all putrid and not a grove. Fools call it that, but I know better.
And anyone can go there?
Of course, unless he forgets to say the old sow's farrowed piglets. Might not let you in then, but that's easy enough to say. Listen, the old sow's farrowed piglets. See?
Thanks for your help.
I've got a cold. I'd buy tomorrow what you can buy today. Barbarian. They've grown fat on this one. He's gutting their bent bellies now and fucking their eyes out as they look down on us. Ooh! The second tour. Is it in case the first one returns? Come one, come all! It can't be. White hair, yellow eyes, slashed face. Just like he said. Geralt of Rivia, known as the White Wolf, the Butcher of Blaviken.
Geralt of Rivia's enough. What is it?
A man came to me a few years past, paid me to keep a book for you, said you'd come for it one day.
Who was he?
He didn't introduce himself, but the book has a red cover, that I remember. I'm sure I've not sold it.
All right, see if I can find it.
And perhaps glance at the others while you're at it.
Be glad to look over what you got.
Fauna of the Northern Realms, Volume 1. Looks like I haven't read that one. A few remarks on basilisk and cockatrices. Wondrous world of insectoids. Wow, these are pretty expensive. I just happened to notice how expensive they are. Ghouls and Alghouls. beast of the Tukaj foothills, the little peasant who confounded us. Narensen, son of Gunnestad. How to avoid colossal vessels, the horse whistler, the wild hunt. The World Underground book. Of Sweat and Blood, the ways and manner of Skellige folk book. Slaughter of Sintra. Necronomicon, Pearls of the North, Oxenford. Fauna of the Northern Realms, Volume 1. What a wolf is, every man knows. Who hasn't heard them howling at night or seen their tracks in the snow come morning? Who hasn't felt a cold chill run down his spine when he catches sight of a pack of 5 of them hunting in the woods? These beautiful animals are treated by men as enemies, and not without reason, for they attack our flocks and will even kill our horses during times of deep frost. Yet they are noble beasts, endowed with great intelligence and displaying a strength and independence that no man can help but admire. Wow, this is a long one, but when he awoke, he saw before him an endless swath of blue. On the horizon the sky merged with the glassy sea. The storm had passed, so had the longship and all its crew. He never learned how long he had lain unconscious in the lifeboat. The sun had scorched his skin a purplish red and turned his lips to brittle parchment. He was overcome by great thirst, but there was nothing on the boat with which to quench it. Had he been spared from so much only to die now? No, Narensen was the son of the great Gunnestad, and he would never give up. He had 20 springs under his belt when he embarked on his voyage. When was that? Long ago, very long ago, back when his friend still lived. When he still had his left hand, not the stiff stump, when his beard was still red and not streaked with silver. The drive for glory, which had driven him far from his family home, had demanded a high price. Narensen had never given that a second thought, but now, alone in a lifeboat in the middle of an endless ocean, he felt tired. He wanted to once again set eyes on the farm on which he had been raised, to see the eyes of his mother who had lulled him into sleep with tales of the deeds of the legendary heroes. Now he had become one of them. Now mothers would tell their sons about him. His greatest dream had become a reality. He should have been happy, but he wasn't. Perhaps if he had known then what travails and hardships awaited him. Yet no man can know his future. One thing is sure, however, even if Narensen had known what horrors this life had in store for him, he never would have chosen another. He was the son of the great Gunnestad, and he had walked the path of glory, from which one can never stray, no matter the cost. Wondrous world of insectoids. One is hard-pressed to think of a creature more hard-working and better organized than the Endrega. Ants, bees, and termites are no match for them in this regard. Endregas best even humans when it comes to foresightedness and industry. In fact, the human race could benefit a great deal from following their example, resigning from the primitive and obsolete social structures of feudalism and adopting a set of form of arachno-communism. In arachno-communism, every individual has a specific place and performs a specific labor for the common good. The roles are as follows: worker, soldier, and queen. Each comrade contributes to the necessary daily toil according to his special abilities and takes from the common fund of wealth according to his special needs. The ways and manner of Skellige folk. One's attention immediately is drawn to the fact that their seemingly impoverished huts shine with cleanliness. The walls of their homes are usually made from pine and covered with a substance derived from sap, which keeps out all manner of vermin. I believe it scares off insects as well, for I did not see a single one indoors during my entire stay in Skellige. The interiors of their huts are quite spacious and usually divided into 2 rooms. The first is used by the members of the household during the day and is separated by a doorway from the second, which acts as a bedroom and contains only simple wooden beds covered with linens that resemble sacks more than continental bedding. In the middle of each main chamber stands a large round table around which the members of the household gather to eat only once a day. This usually happens just after dusk, the time for their main meal. This supper is a hallowed event and is carried out in a nearly ritualistic manner. At its start, before the family members have even taken their seats around the table, the eldest of the family tears off a piece of bread and places it on something of a household altar, which occupies a place of honor in each Skellige home. This serves as a symbol of respect for deceased ancestors. At the end of this ceremony for the departed, the entire family sits down to eat. The eldest woman places a steaming bowl in the middle of the table. Everyone has their own spoon, which they dip one by one into the basin of food. They most often eat porridge, over which they pour gravy made from meat or fish. Curiously, immediately upon the supper's conclusion, the eldest takes the piece of bread set aside at the start of the meal and places it in a large amphora. As I later learned, when an amphora becomes full, it is filled with boiling water and a beverage is brewed which in taste somewhat resembles beer, though it is much weaker. The world underground. We hunkered down for the night in a cave so enormous the light from our torches faded into the murky black, without revealing any upper bound to it. For most of the night, all we could hear was the rushing of water somewhere behind the wall of the cave. Yet after some time, it is hard to say how much, for we had lost all sense of where day ended and night began. We heard a sort of scraping noise, and then the sound of boulders shifting. The scraping turned into a roar, but by that time we were already on our feet and running towards the tunnels through which we had entered the cave. We did so none too soon, for the shifting had opened up a new passage in the cavern, which began to spew out hordes of small, misshapen humanoids. Without breaking stride, I looked over my shoulder, and in the midst of the mass of midget line of a large black troll. Thus began our run for our lives. The Wild Hunt. A frail ribbon flickers across the sky, the rider's spectral silhouettes barely discernible within it. Then the cavalcade contorts closer and closer, revealing more and more of their ghastly form. Now the buffalo horns atop their helms penetrate one's view, now the crest betwixt them, and now the skull-like face exposed beneath their visors. The riders sit astride skeletal mounts, bits of barding stuck to their sides like boils. A furious gale howls through the willows. Their blades now glisten like unfailing stars in the black sky. The wind howls louder and louder. No, that is no wind. That is ghoul song. Suddenly the nightmarish cavalcade twists once more, the hooves of its ghostly mounts churning the light of will-o'-the-wisp hanging above the bog. At the head of the cavalcade rides the king of the hunt. A rust-eaten bassinet sways above a skull-like mask. Gaping eye sockets burn with a pale blue fire. Around him whirls a tattered cloak. A necklace rattles atop his rust-covered breastplate. Holes empty as the abyss stare out from it. Once they were filled with precious stones, but these fell out during his race across the skies and became stars. The king of the hunt laughs, his teeth rotten as the grave, snapping above the rusted collar of his breastplate. The blue flames in the eye sockets of his skeletal mask roar. The little peasant who confounded his lord. Winter was on its way, and the Lord once again started to think about what to do to oppress his people even more. One morning at the crack of the cockerel's crow, he rode out into the village in a carriage pulled by 2 black horses with his trusted page at his side to act as his scribe. The earth was sodden and a cruel mud covered the road, so the Lord, not wanting to dirty his shiny new boots, stayed in his carriage and sent his page to do his bidding. When they arrived at the village, the page dismounted from the carriage, a paper covered in thick ink clutched in his hands. He nailed the paper to the first hut he saw, and since he did it with a hammer, a peasant boy named Reuben soon opened the door up to see what was the matter. The boy was 12 years of age and had a straw-colored shock of cow-licked hair and a freckled face with ruddy cheeks. "Well, what do you want?" grumbled the page, looking at Reuben's shirt, which was covered in the same filth as everything else in the village. "Well, nothing really, rightly," Reuben shrugged. "Thing is, sir, this here's me home." "Then get inside it." The boy wasn't scared, and instead stood on his doorstep looking at the piece of paper. "So what's this, sir, a letter?" the boy asked. "Read it and find out for yourself," the scribe said, growing angrier, though Reuben didn't seem to notice. "I feared I can't, sir, don't know how." "What the devil's taking you, scribe?" the Lord hollered. He was still sitting in his carriage and hadn't heard the conversation. Clearly he was growing bored. "The whelp says he doesn't know how to read." "Aye, 'cause he don't," Reuben confirmed, and took 2 steps toward the carriage, his bare feet sinking into the muddy gray muck. "And the ones inside, do they?" questioned the Lord. "Where'd you reckon they learned a thing like that, my lord?" the peasant asked, perplexed, for he had always thought great lords like that must surely know everything. "So who in your village does know how to read?" asked the Lord, growing ever more irritated. "Not one, my lord." "Scribe," the Lord said, leaning far out while leaning on his carriage door. "Could you explain to me how I'm to enforce my declaration on people who do not know how to read and write?" "I don't know, my lord," the scribe said, taking a step back, as if he expected the Lord to jump out of the carriage and assault him. The fault was not his, but the Lord was in the habit of beating his scribe when he grew angry, no matter the cause. A few remarks on basilisks and cockatrices. Why have you got such big eyes, grandmum?" asked the little girl with worry. "Shriek, shriek," replied the basilisk. "Grandmom, why do you say shriek, shriek?" asked the little girl with surprise. The basilisk didn't reply, but instead clamped its toothy, venomous maw over the curious little girl and swallowed her up. Luckily, a witcher by the name of Eskel was wandering these lands in search of a Zugel. The witcher was experienced and so knew basilisks only turn people to stone in fairy tales. He also knew it is best to avoid their venom. Eskel noticed the monster had recently eaten, and before anyone could say ready, set, go, ready, steady, go, he threw himself at the beast and cut it open with his silver sword. The basilisk's stomach opened up, and the witcher saw the half-digested, foolish little girl inside. Beast of the Tukash foothills. The peasants of the Tukash foothills say fiends are born of magic. For at times, witches cast spells on bears, causing them to mount boars, and the resultant offspring is neither boar nor bear, but has the markings of a fiend. Usually such boar piglets die of hunger, but they are at times found and taken in by witches. Raised on enchanted milk, they grow in strength, and soon enough the milk is no longer enough for them. Now fiends, they start hunting and kill their victims with the ferocity of a boar and the strength of a bear. Yet they remain ever true to their mothers, meaning the witches. The witches protect them from danger, answer their every summons, and aid them in all things. Ghouls and all ghouls. As for the genesis of ghouls, there are hypotheses aplenty. Some scholars claim these monstrosities arose from scoundrels who indulged in a taste for human flesh, and for this misdeed drew the wrath of the heavens down upon themselves. The gods punished them by taking away their souls, their minds, and their human forms. My experiments have shown, however, that ghoul anatomy displays far too little in common with that of humans for his thesis to seem at all probable. Any and all similarity in appearance between ghouls and men, such as their somewhat kindred shapes, and the measures of their physiognomies, are pure matters of incidental circumstance. It thus follows that ghouls, like their vile cousins the Alghouls, are post-conjunction creatures. That is to say, such beings as came to our universe in an abrupt cataclysm disrupting the normal laws of nature. Golem? Or man's most faithful servant? Despite what you might have read, the first golem was created not by a powerful mage or an elven sage, but by a simple dwarf from Maribor named Bonaventura Sesto, a brickmaker. The fateful act of creation took place over a century ago when the persecution of non-humans was in full swing in Maribor. Elves and dwarves had been accustomed of bringing an epidemic to the city, though it was later discovered the outbreak had been caused by a man named Matteo, a barkeep's dog's body at the Golden Goose Inn. This Matteo was charged with both serving meals and cleaning the latrines, and would only wash his hands once a month, and then not very thoroughly. The rest, as they say, is history. The persecution of non-humans was limited at first to robbing their shops, arson, and the occasional beating, but the violence soon escalated into a bloody pogrom. As the city guards looked on without lifting a finger, humans murdered elves and dwarves during 3 days and 3 nights of slaughter, killing over 300 individuals, including the aforementioned Bonaventura Sesto's entire family. Driven mad with grief and thirsting for vengeance, Bonaventura molded a 10-foot-tall humanoid out of clay and then carved the names of the slain non-humans onto it, along with a smattering of dwarven curses. Once finished, he slit his own throat, and when his blood spattered his gigantic statue, it came alive and started walking towards the city. Bonaventura had his sweet revenge on his persecutors. His creation killed almost 500 humans, including the mayor and the entire city council, before the soldiers from the city garrison could take it out using their ballista. The Conclave's later investigation found that Bonaventura had possessed hidden magic talent. Though he never had any training, the torrent of powerful emotions running through him at the time of his death flushed out his latent powers and created from them a new spell. After numerous alterations and improvements, one can now cast this spell without sacrificing one's life, and golems guard laboratories, libraries, and palaces across the continent. The Necronomicon. To think that man appeared on an empty world and gained mastery over it unchallenged is as foolish as thinking the world will cease to exist after man's passing. Before the first humans set foot on our world, it was inhabited by beings superior to men in terms of wisdom, strength, and every other virtue. The beings I have in mind still exist in our present time, though they do not exist in a sphere available to human understanding. They occupy no dimension known to us. Where they live can best be described as a space between worlds. At times, one can sense their presence through a sudden, unknown scent or a strange feeling of anxiety with no apparent cause. A wind which blows in several directions at once is another example of their subtle manifestation in our realm. There exist various imaginings of what these creatures might look like, yet these have nothing to do with reality, for man is incapable of conceiving something which he has not seen even in his wildest nightmares. The greatest horror these beings bring comes precisely from their indefiniteness in lack of concrete form, yet it would be a mistake to think that a formless creature is necessarily harmless. The power they possess is sufficient to lay waste to a forest, level of froth and waves. Today man is master of the world, but only for a short while. They await patiently and will soon arise and regain their one-time glory. This is as certain as dawn follows dusk, and dusk then follows again soon after to drown everything once more in darkness. A message from an old friend. Endrega drones. Necker warrior decoction. Ice trolls. Rock trolls.
Interested in books? You don't look the scholar, but well, we've ones with drawings as well.
Let's play some cards.
Up for a few rounds of Gwent?
Let's win a little bit of this coin bag that I spent. Scoia'tael versus Nilfgaard. Wow. Oh yes, Geralt of Rivia. Damn, he's might win. Holy crap. No, he won. He won. He won. Maybe he did win. Maybe he did not. Nope. 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 I really pushed it though into the margin. Geralt stopped by a certain Novigrad book merchant whose owner recognized him at once. He said someone had left the book with him a long time ago with instructions to give it to Geralt if he ever got the chance. Naturally piqued the Witcher's curiosity. Sadly, the book dealer did not know the book's exact present location, only that it had a red cover and that Geralt should look for it in the stacks and dusty tomes and manuscripts. Andrega drones, lazy, good-for-nothing men are sometimes called drones. That's an insult to Andrega drones, who at least get off their arses to fight. Evelyn Harker, the herbalist. Andrega males, called drones, are gluttonous creatures whose only aim in life is to eat, fight, and reproduce. Yet when venturing outside their nest, these aggressive hunters attack any and every creature they come across. Andrega drones live but brief lives, the culmination of which comes in the autumn when they fertilize the queen. They pass the time leading to that moment protecting the colony's territory. Weaker drones die in these battles while the largest and strongest survive. These elect individuals' genes are passed down to the next generation of Andregas, while they themselves are killed after fertilization takes place and their bodies used to feed the hive during the long winter months. Drones are easy to identify thanks to their distinctive cone-shaped abdomens. Unlike other Andregas, they can attack from a distance, sending out volleys of poisonous quills. As with all of their kind, bleeding has no effect on them, and insectoid oil does them great harm. Ice trolls. Our winter's cold and deep. Frostbite eats your feet. Snow falls down and hides the ground, and ice trolls wake from sleep. Folk song heard in northern Cadwin. Climbing to the top of snow-covered peaks is never a safe endeavor. One can slip and fall into a ravine, be buried in an avalanche, or stumble across ice trolls. Unlike the rock trolls found at lower altitudes, these permafrost-dwelling monsters treat every man they encounter as a possible ingredient for a tasty meal. Luckily, ice trolls live atop high mountain ridges so inaccessible they rarely encounter humans, and some suppose this is why they have not mastered the basics of common speech. Others claim their harsh mountain home has stripped them of an ability they once possessed, for in a land of never-ending cold there is no room for mercy or understanding. Ice trolls are crueler than their rocky kin, though they use similar tactics in battle, tossing stones and swinging with their mighty fists. They are hardier and stronger than rock trolls and thus more dangerous. Like rock trolls, their backs are covered in thick protective armor, meaning one should never strike them from the rear. Meanwhile, their mass means that the Ardsign cannot move them. Lastly, never think of attacking them during a blizzard. At such times, they draw power from the surrounding cold and fight with increased strength. Neckers, 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 neckers. Rock trolls, rock trolls. Man must riddly talk, but no tricksy, or troll boom man head, rock troll dwelling in a cave on Undvik. If, while hiking high in the mountains, you come across a walking stone, do not think your eyes deceive you. Instead, draw your sword, for before you stands a rock troll. True, not every encounter with these creatures ends in a fight. While not particularly intelligent, trolls are capable of reason, but it is better to prepare for the worst, otherwise your hike might end not on the summit, but in their stew. Trolls are able to use fire and simple tools, and some of them have even mastered the basics of common speech. Though linguistic nuances such as conjugations and declinations escape them, they are extremely fond of riddles, rhymes, and all sorts of wordplay, a fact a witcher in possession of a bit of wit can use to this advantage. If a fight proves inevitable, one must watch out for the stones these trolls throw with great strength and shocking precision. Their powerful heavy fists also present a danger, for they can buckle even the sturdiest breastplate of cuirass. Since their backs are covered in a layer of rocky growth, blows delivered from behind will not do them much damage. They must thus be fought directly, standing face to face, and preferably armed with a sword covered in a fresh coating of oakroyd oil. The Merry Adventures of Muriel.
Merry Adventures of Muriel the Lovely Harlot, adorned with humorous engravings.
On one occasion, Muriel went on a journey to see her auntie in Maribor, accompanied by her nursemaid. Their path took them through a forest, and in this forest lived a raucous troop of bandits. This infamous group was led by Flynn Selms, and all the king's men had been unable to bring them to justice. Alas, such was Muriel's great misfortunes that these bandits chose to attack her carriage. Muriel's nursemaid was old, blind, and deaf. She did not wake when a tree fell in front of their carriage with a loud thud, nor when the bandits fought a fierce battle against their guardsmen. When Flynn ripped open the carriage door with his muscular arms and stepped aside, Muriel had to deal with the danger herself. "Make our guest comfortable, young lady," the old nursemaid muttered in her sleep. Muriel obediently carried out her instructions. Okay. So that wasn't it, I take it. The treatment of furuncles through cauterization, a study.
The treatment of furuncles through cauterization, a study.
Everyone's seen a boil, usually more than they'd care to. These deformities don't just mar your beauty, they can be signs of disease, or even the diseases cause an epicenter. If your lungs wheeze and your heart flutters, or if you're just sick of pustules, you can carve them off and be free of this ill for good. When you go to carve off a boil, use a sharp knife which you've had a dog lick thoroughly beforehand, for a dog's tongue works wonders in healing wounds. You gotta be brave as you go about it, slicing as confidently and steadily as if carving off a hunk of cheese. Then quickly cauterize the resultant wound using a red-hot poker. Don't pay any mind to screams or tears. Pus, bile, and any other humors need to be gathered in a basin, then dumped in a pit, and the pit covered, else the illness might return. A boil. My manifesto, the life of Jacques de Aldersberg.
My manifesto. Must be it. There's a letter inside.
My manifesto. The reasons for choosing Jacques de Aldersberg as Grand Master remain a mystery. The Order of the White Rose had gone through a crisis in those times and was on the verge of collapse, so one might guess that the Brethren wished to have someone decisive as their leader, someone with a clear vision. De Aldersberg was precisely such a man. One of his first decisions was to change the Brotherhood's name to the Order of the Flaming Rose. The most puzzling aspect, however, is that the Order and the King himself decided to trust a man who, for all intents and purposes, had appeared out of nowhere. They say he was a wanderer, an itinerant priest, who moved crowds with his speeches declaiming non-humans. They say he worked miracles and showed his flock visions of a world destroyed by the White Frost. He was undoubtedly a man of great charisma, one instilled with unshakable principles, which he in turn tried to instill in others. Was he truly a source? Was he indeed gifted with raw magic talent? That we will never know for certain. Letter from A. Witcher. In the ocean of possibilities, some events are more likely, and some less. It is not easy to fish out the first, not even when one's intellect stretches through all time and space. I left this letter for you in the hope that, despite all odds, you will come across it one day. For I must warn you, mankind is threatened. The prophesied destruction by the White Frost is not just the babbling of some mad she-elf. Perhaps I will have the opportunity to convince you of this in person. If not, I must rely on this letter, which you will read many years from now, at a time when you know more than you did when we first met. Know that nothing will save the world except preparing its entire population for this catastrophe. The old tales say a child of the elder blood can stave off the danger, but I tried and failed. Ever since I have been haunted by a hideous vision, a crowned wraith, the specter of my failure. I was the chosen one, and the chosen one failed. You and your brotherhood are our only hope. When the time of the wolf's blizzard comes, men shall perish and only the Ubermen will survive. Your duty is to give the world Ubermen. Whatever you think of me, do not fail as I have failed. A message from an old friend. Geralt found the book and inside it a letter from someone he had once known. Though he gave no outward sign of it, this filled him with a touching recollections of old times. To this day, I don't know who the old friend was, nor what he had written in the letter. And that's a shame, for judging by Geralt's behavior therein lies a very interesting tale. Moribundia, the vampire's last likeness. Moribundia, the vampire's last likeness. Thereupon Isabella took Edward's glistening visage in her hand and embraced his icy lips, which were twisted into a cynical grin. "Forgive me, my love," she whispered, stifling the sobs heaving her bosom, "but my heart doth long with fiercer passion for yon werewolf, whom thou hatest with all thy vampiric thou-ness. 'Tis for the best," spoke Edward, shifting his pale face toward the equally pale moon. "With me thy life was never endangered. With yon werewolf thou shalt know peace and happiness." Edward turned around and took a step towards the exit, but Isabella grabbed his wrist and bade him stop. The touch of her hand was so tender, his heart newly began to beat anew after centuries of deathly stillness. "There is more," spoke she, averting his penetrating gaze. "I am with child." Tyromancy, or the noble art of cheese divination. What splendid diversity reigns in the kingdom of cheese! The ripened curd can be made white or blue, hard or soft, fresh or aged from the milk of cows, sheep, or goats, brine, pickled or untouched. This list could go on till the end of time, and each of them, every last slice, every morsel and crumb, not only brings with it an unmatched rush of sensory experience, but in the right hands can be made to reveal the universe's most closely guarded secrets. For cheese, like the innards of sacrificed animals, the flight of a swallow or vivid dreams can be used for divination. The depth and size of a cheese's holes reveals when rains will fall in the coming year, while the color of mold veins tell who shall love whom, and the scent of a hard grana padano predicts which army will vanquish its foes and which shall perish. The best divination, however, is done using the ancient method of fondue. One must simply melt two different kinds of cheese, preferably Emmental and Gruyere, in white wine, or in a pinch in a dry apple cider. Then one must use a long stick to immerse a morsel of bread in the resultant thick soupy mixture, all the while keeping in mind the question, what shall my child be like when he or she, as the case may be, grows? Then bring the cheese-covered morsel of bread up to a candle so that it casts a shadow on the wall. The shape will provide a sure and easily understood answer to your query. Some interesting lore, I tell you. A lot of lore here. We spent a good 48 minutes discussing lore. That was so funny.
Welcome, welcome.
What have you got there?
This guy doesn't really have much on offer at all.
So long.
The thinking customer will see right away the best deals this side of the pond.
Waste of breath.
Sir, I beg your pardon. Don't touch me.
Triss Marigold, witch and harlot, is wanted for the practice of black magic and conspiracy against the crown. Information leading to her capture will be rewarded. Armorer. Armorer.
Daniel, Ludley.
Thank you.
Top-notch swords.
Master-crafted armor. Think you could make me some?
Ooh, I did get my journeyman's papers, but I've yet to make anything akin to a masterwork. You might try in Velen. A dwarf there goes by Fergus. He might help. Guildsmen claim there's no one better anywhere south of the Pontar.
What do you have for sale
Show me
then?
what you have in stock.
Trash. 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 Edwin Greloff's third map. Heavily Faded Notes by Hieronymus on The Witcher Elgar. Probably need to repair our gear.
Willing to craft something for me? So long.
Beautiful Professor Slavko Adamstein will be furious I lost the first map in a game of Gwent, and then the second was stolen from me while I was slightly indisposed after a hard night in the casino. I cannot arrive empty-handed at the station near the tomb under Crookback Hills, or the professor will vivisect me on the spot. The 4 new locations I have marked on this map might be enough to protect me from his wrath. Edwin Greloff, adjunct in natural history at Oxford Academy. Heavily Faded Notes by Hieronymus on The Witcher Elgar. Elgar placed upgrades to the School of the Wolf Witcher gear in 3 different caves in the area immediately to the south of Kaer Morhen. He hoped future generations of Witchers would find them in an hour of need. Scavenger Hunt Wolf School Gear Upgrade Diagrams Part 4. Scavenger Hunt Griffin School Gear Upgrade Diagrams Part 3. These are all high-level quests.
I'm knackered.
Greetings.
Show me your wares. So long.
Really, I'm looking for a merchant that will also play Gwent. Vimy Vivaldi? Oh shit, this is the Vivaldi Bank.
Well, look who's here. The White Wolf himself in my humble establishment. How can I be of service?
Let's play Gwent.
You play Gwent, don't you?
Oh, sure. Because I'm a dwarf. Is that it? Do you also believe I know every other bleeding dwarf in existence, and at the end of each day, I deepen the mine shaft in my cellar?
So you play or not?
Aye, I play.
So play me. Stake a unique card, maybe?
Why not?
No, his hands are missing. I mean, his arms are missing. Let's take a look at this deck here. Can't really build a monster deck that I can use yet. What do we have in the leaders? Playing Novigrad. Crap. I don't know why he did that. Really? Jesus.
can't rightly recall the last time I was so thoroughly thrashed. The card's yours.
Tried your best. Tell me, who else would have worthwhile cards?
There's Marquise Serenity, for instance. She don't boast about it, but she has one of the best decks in town, and uses it damn well. I know what I'm talking about.
Big city players.
How can I be of service?
Vesemir, sweet. How's business, brother?
How's business?
Really? That's the best you got? That's like asking a fisherman if they're biting, or an old gran about her health. Business is booming. There's profit to be made from war, provided you've the know-how. Before Nilfgaard had even crossed the Pontar, I'd contracted for insured deliveries of wood and iron from Kovir. Reaped a 7-fold return on my investment.
Nice.
So you might think. But then there's the non-human poll tax, the church's tithe, war taxes, and my overhead. Subtract all that and you're left with a pittance. A dozen or so chests and no more.
Let's convert some currency,
Got some
brother.
coin I'd like to convert into crowns.
You've come to the right place. A better rate you'll not find anywhere in the city.
Oh, this is cool. Wow. Like... So what do I actually convert?
How can I be of service?
Need a loan.
I need coin. Guess I have to take out a loan.
Of course, I'll arrange it right.
I don't really need it though.
Just like that.
Lady Yennefer of Vengerberg long ago declared herself your guarantor, were these circumstances ever to arise. Besides, we tried and true methods for collecting debts.
Oh, he gave me a loan of 100 crowns. I didn't really want it, but oh well. Okay. 100 crowns is nothing, really.
How can I be of service?
Till next time.
I guess he gets his 30% interest. Jackass.
Hello?
You know, where is this Oliver guy? Is he in Novigrad? He is here. Well, let's go do this. Let's go win his unique card. Which knife should be used when eating fish? Is it fitting for a lady to walk with hose in hot weather? Should a one aspiring to rub shoulders with Novigrad high society will receive answers to these and other similarly vexing questions for a trifling fee by inquiring with Count Nougat, a world authority in matters of savoir vivre? Contract, haunted house. I seek a witcher of unsullied reputation, documentation regarding prior achievements and written references preferred, who will undertake the task of combing the residents on the outskirts of the city recently acquired by the undersigned Count Kurt Dysart. In order to find and drive off or kill the creature which is haunting it, a sizable reward is guaranteed. Sincerely, Kurt Dysart, Count of Angkor, by writ of King Foltest, temporarily in residence at the Kingfisher. Contract, imp. On behalf of the Merchants Guild, I hereby announce the following. A particularly bold beast, an imp to our thinking, has taken to thieving in the market near the city gates. Though it has not yet harmed any humans, this monster has caused a great deal of irrecoverable financial loss. Whoever tracks down and kills this imp shall receive a hefty reward, one free of all taxes in accordance with our Honorable City Councilman's Decree number 1271, Charlie 710. Do not tarry in providing us assistance, good people, for retail trade is the backbone of a healthy economy, meaning the financial well-being of the city's merchants lies in all of your best interests. Sylvester Amello, the merchant. Stay out of the sewers! We would like to inform all venerable residents of Novigrad that last week the temple guard fished 3 bodies of the following descriptions out of the city sewers. Male, of moderate age, clad in rich apparel with a birthmark on his upper shoulder. Female, elderly, dressed in a blue nightshirt, numerous blunt trauma wounds all over her body. Male, young, naked, and decent, tattoos on his groinal area. These bodies will be examined and identified by the end of the month, then cremated. We would like to take this opportunity to warn our dear townsmen and women against entering the sewers. Despite continual efforts on the part of our brave temple guard, they remain an extraordinary dangerous place. The City Council of the Free City of Novigrad. Contract, Monster in the Bits. By order of the City Council number 1408 DZ 185, a reward has been set aside for the killing of the monster which torments and murders residents of the Bits after dark. The only acceptable proof of having performed this deed shall be a trophy taken from the monster's body. Yes, this means your mother's or cousin's or aunt's eyewitness testimony will not suffice, nor will the sworn word of any other person, regardless of his or her claimed relationship to you, the hierarch, or anyone else, and also without caring one whit for his or her alleged trustworthiness, which supposedly can be attested to by anyone at your favorite drinking hall. For more information and or to collect the reward, see the district superintendent for the Bits. Lund, by writ of the City Council, superintendent of the Bits. Fist fights. Anyone looking to bash some heads will find plenty of worthy ones in our fair city. Those interested in joining the fun, sign up for our tournament. You'll face those most highly honorable gents. Gorgeous George, known as the Pile Driver, Archibald O'Neill, Captain Iron Mortimer, and Durden, known as the Tailor. Undiscovered location. Haunted house. Monster in Oxenford. By orders of our most magnanimous ruler, King Radovid V, any itinerant monster slayer reading this notice is obliged to abandon Elusive thief. Door slamming shut. Fist of Fury.
Looks like rain.
Following the thread. Ah! Hmm.
Kingfisher. Where do you get the name?
Master Dandelion's poetry. The kingfisher preened, then fell in the latrine. Know it?
Yeah. Also know the one about Princess Annie, who drowned in the River Fanny.
Yes. At any rate, the kingfisher welcomed poetry lovers with open arms. Some of the brightest stars in the literary firmament performed here.
Let's play Gwent, damn it.
Looking for a partner. Wouldn't mind a round of Gwent.
Then you're in the right place, friend. If you'll play now, I'll stake the unique card from my collection.
No, we're gonna get this card. Let's do it.
Sure, let's play. We're gonna put Vesemir in here. Vesemir. Vesemir. I doubt I can put Vesemir. I can. Nilfgaard. Just playing monsters. I'm playing Nilfgaard. Biting Frost, we'll definitely need that. Impenetrable Fog, we'll probably need that. Torrential Rain, maybe. Maybe. They do have some big siege. I think they have more frontline fighters and siege type creatures than archery. I guess ranged row creatures. Didn't really get that great of a draw. This is not going to end well, I don't think. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, these are all melee creatures. I'm telling you. You gotta be kidding me. He's really got me covered. And I'm screwed too because all the rest of my hand is frontline fighter type creatures. Okay. Nilfgaard wins the draw. It's great. 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 I don't have this. Step by.
Personally, I'd have played that hand differently. But that's just my opinion.
No, you're right, brother. Olivier.
How can I be of service? So, shall we play?
Sure, let's play.
The big problem with monsters is that damn front row. I'm gonna have to throw the first round, I believe. Okay. You got it. You got it, sir. If I use his scores, I'm gonna kill my own guy. Damn it. It's not really what I wanted to do. That's not really what I wanted to do either. I'm screwed, I think. God dang it.
Personally, I'd have played that hand differently.
Yeah, it's easy to talk. Yeah. Run your
I'm
mouth.
gonna be of service. So, shall we play?
Sure, let's play.
Dumping your hand like that, I can basically see what's in your hand. What the hell? I just... Nilfgaard wins the draw.
You win. Card's yours.
Geralt played and defeated all the excellent innkeepers he could find and added many powerful new cards to his collection. And I did. Now we got big city players.
Scoundrel.
I believe I ate something terribly disagreeable.
You must get bored here.
Waste of breath.
One cannot make an omelette without breaking an egg.
Back again, Rivian Trap.
Cover and Povis. Cover and Povis are without a doubt the richest realms in the north. Few today remember that this was not always the case, yet their poverty was once literally on everyone's lips in the form of now antiquated common sayings. As recently as in the days of Herbert the Quarrelsome, one spoke of a particularly impoverished person as being poorer than a mouse from Povis, called bone broth Coviri delight, and referred to as beggars as Paraxides, after the bay along the shores of which these kingdoms lie. Similarly, few remember that a mere handful of generations ago, Kovir and Povis were still a part of Redania. King Radovid I, known as Radovid the Great, handed dominion over them to his hated brother Troyden, with one stipulation, that he never leave his newly acquired demesnes and not interfere in matters of state, handing over this rocky scrap of far-off northern ground where the saying went, the year had two seasons, August and winter, was naturally meant as a cruel joke, a slap in the face for the over-ambitious Troyden. Yet time soon proved that Radovid the Great had made a grave error. Before long, it was discovered that Kovir's bare rocks hid priceless treasures in the form of enormous deposits of precious metals and rock salt. This discovery in turn led tremendous growth in productive industry. Mills, forges, and workshops sprouted up like mushrooms after a hearty rain. Radovid III decided to correct his famous forebear's mistake and take back the northern frontiers of his kingdom. He was convinced the combined armies of Redania and its then ally Cadwin would quickly bring this ever more audacious vassal in line. History took a different turn, however, and Kovir won a resounding, crushing victory. Radovid III was forced to sign the first treaty of Lan Exeter, granting Kovir independence while binding it to eternal neutrality, a promise Troyden's successors have kept with great diligence. Until recently, Kovir was ruled by Esterad Thesan, a king as wise as he was greedy, yet his untimely demise did not stop his lands from continuing to develop and blossom. Koviri metallurgists proudly compete with the best Mahakam can offer, and many believe the University of Lan Exeter long ago surpassed the famous Oxenford Academy as the leading seat of higher learning in the north. And so it has come to pass that, over the course of a few generations, the inhabitants of Kovir and Povis have turned from paupers into princes, from beggars into bankers.
Let's drink for its nearly night.
The mage hunters will tend to you yet.
He's a war veteran. Spare me the crown.
I got a notice board down here. The gods have heard the land's cry. Its people long wait is over. King Radovid will save the north.
Oh.
What are you doing? Like you were sneaking up on me, man.
What is it?
Fish market, huh? Talk to the drunk over here.
I'll drink another, then fuck the innkeep. A real cloudburst.
Ain't nothing pretty in this life save daffodils.
A real cloudburst.
Waste of breath.
Oh, what? Wow.
A real cloudburst. Plow the fuck off.
Nice man, brother.
Juice a nibble.
Rain again. Damn mages. Bloody bum.
Got so fucked up once, blood came out my ears.
Shut off, arse munch.
Oh, that's bad luck. Give us a crown.
As long as the devil don't make you sick. Got an itch needs scratching?
Kiss my arsehole.
In my right hand, and over me coffin, sing this cheer. Mages.
Hello, Sourpuss.
Hiya.
You always wear tight trousers.
Lay me down with a barrel of beer and a cup in my right hand, and over me coffin, sing this cheer.
Open up.
Who are you and what you want?
Take a look. What do you see?
Yellow eyes, pair of swords, mutated kill at me things.
Heard this place was a meeting spot for oddities.
Heard right. Know the password, get him free. Don't know it, gotta contribute to the Grave's upkeep.
Old sows, farrowed piglets.
Ah. Welcome to the Grove, brother. Mutant.
What are you offering?
Wow. Zerrikanian saddlebags.
See you.
Nice. I'm glad I came in here and got these Aracanian saddlebags. Let's go ahead and equip them on Roach. And play some Gwent while we're here.
Wouldn't mind a few rounds of cards.
Oh, we got Tibor. Now there we go. Swizz. Man, he's going all in. Havakar Healer. Being overly aggressive like that with those monsters decks can bite you in the arse if you're not careful.
ails you?
See how one eye.
The Rosemary and Thyme, the hottest spot in Novigrad.
Thank you, my lord. Right miracle you've worked. I'd like to repay
Yeah.
you.
Convince those knaves on the city council that spells are not needed on a whim, but positively.
You're scared of anger.
In that case, please convey that if any of them should fall ill, it can stick his own flame to the eternal fire.
Got you pretty good with that ship.
I'll get that little shit. Teach him to step on my turf. Or else you'll get puffy.
A legend cannot be
Still
killed,
had some
can
salve I got off of sorceries.
You robber?
You daft. King forbids any trickery towards mages. Needs them too much.
It's the drunks who are out tonight. Dude, get off me!
Mum, look what I found.
That's a pretty necklace. Where'd you get it?
It was lying in the street, so I took it.
You look me straight in the eyes and lie, just like your pa. You're a good lad. Now go play. Mummy's got to get some sleep before she goes to work.
My uncle's in the circus because he can swallow swords. Can you?
Mix to yourself.
We must be strong together. Watch it, tramp. Novigrad's not just...
Hey, you.
Yeah? Huh?
They say you're the best of the pickpockets. Would you mind demonstrating your dexterity?
I'm bound for the market square, love, if you'd like to come and watch.
Not what I had in mind. I was thinking of a bit of enjoyment before they burn me at the stake. See what it's come to.
What are you playing at? My bestie?
What's new, killer?
Watch it, Greyhead.
Eh?
Oh.
Yeah? How are things?
Good. More and more people come to our secret clinic looking for help.
Menger's hound's not scaring them off anymore.
I guess incurable disease is more terrifying than torture.
In that case, I'll count on more tribute coming in.
You already take 80% of what we receive.
Aye, but don't forget it's me who secures the nooks and crannies where you and yours can hide.
Oi, Cocker!
About time we made something clear, sorceress.
Yes, high time.
Me and my men will manage just fine without the help of you or any other mages. But you, well, without our help, you're sitting ducks for the temple guard. Who do I spy?
Geralt?
Hey,
In the flesh.
See you two know each other. See you two know each other well. I was curious whether you'd managed to find me, Witcher.
Your spies tell you I was looking for the Putrid Grove?
My skull would be a home for bottom-feeding river fish if I didn't keep an ear to the ground. And please, Putrid Grove, ugly name for our cozy little hideout, wouldn't you say?
So what would you call this dive?
Dunno. The Garden of Liberty, maybe?
For a man who shakes down beggars and thieves for tribute, you're quite the romantic.
You say tribute, I say taxes. You say thieves, I say hard-working street clerks. See, Witcher? I've got plans. Big plans. Far-reaching plans to reshape this city head to toe.
King of the Underground.
Seeking a seat on the city council?
City Council is a puppet troupe with a hierarchy of the Church of the Eternal Fire as its puppeteer. Until recently, that is, when Radovid and his witch hunters took the reins. The semblance of power don't interest me.
You face the Temple Guard and witch hunters armed to the teeth, and all you've got's a gang of tramps and a handful of mages. I wouldn't bet a single crown on you.
Nor would I. Not at the moment. But war shuffles the deck. In wartime, folks start to understand things. Start to wonder why magic's outlawed, even though it's so damn useful. Folk come to me knowing full well it's forbidden. You know why? Because they fear death by disease more than torture. I'm actually glad someone like you's found his way to our city. Because it will be our city one day, Geralt. Mark my words.
Yours, plural?
Yeah, mine. And me friends. But that's a tale for another time. For now, I'll leave you two alone. Because I can see, well, you clearly need it.
Geralt, I have a lot of things to take care of in town.
I'll be glad to tag along. What's your arrangement? He using you?
Helping me to survive, actually.
6 months ago, if somebody said Triss Merigold would be working for a Novigrad criminal, I'd never have believed it.
6 months ago, Triss Merigold parted with someone very dear to her and had to start anew. Hasn't turned out like I imagined. Come on, let me give you a taste of my life.
Francis Bedlam, the king of beggars. Francis Bedlam, the free city of Novigrad, had known no kings rule for nearly 200 years, Francis Bedlam surely had this fact in mind when he anointed himself the King of Beggars, a title that mocked the pomposity of crowned heads while simultaneously stealing it. Bedlam was a pragmatic man, a trait of great use in his profession, which involved managing a network of thieves, beggars, tramps, and street urchins that trickled throughout every part of the city. His contact provided him with the freshest gossip and tastiest morsels of information. And the cut he took of his subjects' earnings guaranteed a sizable income for the maintenance of his court in the Putrid Grove. Francis despised fanaticism and prejudice in equal measure, which meant that mages fleeing the witch hunter's pincers often turned to him for protection. Vime Vivaldi, the dwarves had been in the banking business since the legendary King Desmond of Temeria was just a snot-nosed brat in short trousers asking for more yam with his bread. Since then, the prominent dwarven banking families, the Giancardis, the Vivaldis, and the Cianfanellis, have only expanded their services, establishing branches in all the larger cities of the north. Vime Vivaldi carried the torch of this venerable tradition into modern times, growing the Novigrad branch of his family's bank until it was the largest in the city. Geralt and I had met him over a dozen years before our story begins and had always appreciated his honesty and financial acumen. The latter he gave further proof of during the time in which our story takes place, for his bank remained profitable even in the face of growing non-human oppression. After a bit of a run around, Geralt found the sorceress who had indeed entered into an arrangement with the so-called King of Beggars. She paid for his protection by providing magic services to his organization. Though Triss did not know anything about Ciri and her stay in Novigrad, she promised to do all within her power to aid Geralt's search. Zerod.
Madam Sorceress. Beautiful as ever. Damn shame to part.
Don't fret. Bound to be back soon. I take it you're in Novigrad on important business.
Important doesn't do it justice. I'm looking for someone.
More precisely?
Young woman who's like a daughter to me.
Her? Here? No, impossible.
She was here. There are witnesses, evidence. Was hoping you'd heard something. You've been here a while. I need you to help me find something, anything, a trace.
I'll do everything I can, of course. Who might know more? Hello, Klug. Managed to get those magic incense ingredients?
Yes, somewhat with difficulties, you might say. I was walking along the canal with a sack full of goodies for you. Looked up and spied a trio of temple guards coming the other way.
Get to the point, Klug. No time today for one of your long stories.
Wait! A sack full of magicalities and they were coming straight towards me. I don't easily frighten, but I felt a cold sweat on my arse, I did. I'm afraid I had no choice. I dropped the sack in the water. I had to. When asked why, I claimed it contained a dead cat. You shan't believe this, but they believed me.
I need that package, Klug. I've got a contract.
It must be on the canal bed. Luckily, it was heavy enough to sink. I'm sure it'll turn up if you search.
You expect me to pay you, then dive for my goods into that ice-cold filth?
Well, some causes require a sacrifice.
Causes? What about people?
For people, same holds true.
So, maybe you care to dive in after that sack for me?
You win.
Stop. Hear that? They've come for us.
The fall didn't break until I began to prick his heels. Every man's got his sensitive spots. Interrogated a mage once. Pain couldn't touch him. Tore off his fingernails, crushed his bollocks, nothing. Turned out, he was devilishly ticklish. I placed a beetle on his belly and set a mug atop it. Damn near went mad.
You were lucky this time, but you'd best leave via the sewers. The trapdoor's in the floor.
Take care of yourself, Klug.
No.
You were lucky this time, but you'd best leave via the sewers. The trapdoor's in the floor.
All right, 2 hours, 10 minutes in. This is a decent point to stop. We're still I know we're in the middle of the quest, but this is like a good pause point in the quest line itself. That they kind of designed it into the quest line, which is smart of them. So we're going to enter in, next episode we'll be entering in this basement, and we'll be pushing the Pirates of Novigrad forward. We'll take a quick look here at the quest description and see if anything's changed. Finding Ciri here would be like searching for a needle in a burning haystack. Geralt would clearly need some assistance. Luckily, an old acquaintance of his now lived in Novigrad. Her name was Triss Marigold. Yeah. So, it's getting late. I'm getting tired. It's 11 o'clock. I've got to stay on this, I've got to keep some semblance of a consistent sleep schedule because I'm on this new weird 12-hour shift thing at work. And yeah, 2-hour stream, pretty good. Though not a whole lot of action. This was been a lot of book reading and lore and, you know, just a lot of NPC interaction, which is cool. It's interesting. Sets up the backstory. But hopefully we'll be seeing some more action here in the next episode. So everybody have a good night, and I will see you in the next episode. Act 1, Novigrad, Episode 6. Be there or be square. Nah. Good night, everybody.